I'm gonna make you a proposal. I can see that you want to say no, but I wouldn't do that before you see what I'm offering you. Cash, you are awesome.
Oh yeah! Alright!
Some for the homies and some for me!
Hell yeah! That's right!
What's going on, everybody? I'm here to do a review for the film Sorry to Bother You. I did want to see it last week when it came out, but unfortunately I had to work that day, so I couldn't go see it. But I had just got out of the theater just a couple minutes ago after seeing it. I first learned about this movie a few months ago. It didn't have a lot of big promotion behind it because it's considered a low-budget film, and the movie, I believe, was made back in 2016. It got played at Sundance last year. It got a lot of reviews, and it got released last Friday. And I can see now why this movie got very high praise and a lot of high ratings, because the trailer, it gave you an illusion of what was coming or what was about to happen, but you have to actually see the movie for yourself to actually see the layers this film has. But anyway, this movie, it stars Lakeith Stanfield. He plays the lead character. If you don't know who he is, he was the one who played in Get Out, as the one who he was the first character you saw in the movie Get Out, and he was the one who had the hat on at that little party. And he also plays Darius on the show Atlanta. Very good actor. He plays the role of Cassius Green, who basically is a guy who's down on his luck. He doesn't have a job. He's unemployed, and he's so poor and broke that he lives in the garage with his girlfriend that's owned by his uncle, played by Terry Crews, and Tessa Thompson, who plays the character Detroit, plays his girlfriend. And he's doing everything that he can to try to move up in the world and, you know, try to land a job, into which he ends up landing a job working for a telemarketing company called Regal View. So he gets this job working for this company called Regal View. It's a telemarketing company, and as we all know, when it comes to telemarketing, it's a certain tone that the people who work there have to use, and when they're speaking to customers. So it's like when he first gets the job and everything like that, he's sticking to the script, but he's using his regular tone of voice, and every time he talks to the people, he ends up being a fail each and every time. And the only way he can get paid is by how many successful calls that he makes. And then he ends up coming across this character who works in the desk right next to him, Danny Glover. I didn't catch his name. I don't even know if they gave it, if they even mentioned his name in the movie. But Danny Glover is basically telling him that if you really want to be successful with this, you have to turn on your white voice. And then he was like, okay, so how do I really turn on a white voice? He said every person has a white voice. Even black people have a white voice. And then he even played a little joke where he grabs his nostrils and talks all nasally and was like, you know, hi, my name is this. He's like, no, not like that. And then he demonstrates what his white voice is. And let me tell you something right now. If you see the movie, when the black characters are doing the white voice thing, that's not them actually doing it. That's actually probably most likely a white person, and they're just dubbing it over the voice, unless there is a black person who's that damn good. But I think that they got a white person to do the dubbing of those particular voices. And then once he started to activate his white person voice, then he started to like become one of the most successful telemarketers in the company. Then eventually he moves up to this position of power caller, and they made it such a big deal. Like, as a matter of fact, this review might have a little bit of spoilers. Like, for instance, in order for him to move up, you know, to become a power caller and everything like that, they had to be some of the successful people on the ground level. So what it is the power callers, they didn't take the stairs. They got on this nice gold elevator with a voice activation type of thing, almost like you're in a subway somewhere. And it was so funny because the lady who was leading him up the stairs, she had to punch in this code. And the code was so damn long that she had to write it down on a piece of paper. The code had at least 20 digits. And she just kept pressing buttons. And you know what, to be honest, I think it had more than 20 digits. The way that she was pressing those numbers, I think that code had about maybe 50 digits. Like, that was probably one of the funniest scenes in the movie. The movie had some comedic elements to it, but it had a lot of deep messages in there. It's basically talking about what you would do in order to move up. Would you sell your soul? Would you sell out your friends? Like, because another character in there, as a matter of fact, if you are a Walking Dead fan, the character Glenn, who got killed off not last season but the season before then, he's in this movie, and he plays this character named Squeeze, and he works in the office, and basically his role is he's trying to organize this petition or this protest in order to make more money working with the company. Cassius is along for the ride until he gets moved up, and he's like conflicted. He's like, I don't want to leave my friends, but I want to get paid, but I don't want to sell out and, you know, still be broke. So it's almost like a tug of war type of thing with him. He's really conflicted. But this movie, in my honest opinion, is definitely made for Black America, especially those who work in corporate America, mainly because it's showing how much we have to code switch in order to quote unquote make it. And it's almost like they set these ground rules that we have to follow, and if you don't follow them, then it's like there's no way that you can absolutely move up in the world. His girlfriend, she plays more of a free spirit. I noticed that that's a type of role that Tessa Thompson usually always plays. She usually always plays a free spirit type of role, and she is like, you know, she's like working there with him and everything like that, but she doesn't like the changes that's happening, because what's going on is Cassius takes the lifestyle of him at work and starts to bring it over into real life, and it's like we don't know who the real Cassius Green is anymore. It's like we got one character outside of work and another character at work, but it's almost like he's bringing his character from work into real life, and it's like we don't know the difference between the two anymore. Like I said, this movie is a really, really interesting movie. It was directed by this man by the name of Boots Riley. I don't know if he's directed any other films besides this one. He might have, but I can't say that I really have heard of any of his other work besides this one. But it was a very interesting movie. I would definitely recommend that you go see it. I would say that you really have to pay attention. These type of movies you really have to pay attention to, just like with Get Out. You got to pay attention. You might end up seeing it a couple of more times in order to really get the gist of it. Oh, also Amari Hardrick was in it. He basically played the character that brought that basically showed Cassius the rope when he moved up to the power call level. Arnie Hammer was in the movie as well. He basically played the overall boss of this company called Worry Free. Really pay attention to that, to his character as a whole. That was a shady ass motherfucker right there. I could not stand that character right there. And if you see the movie, you'll see why, you'll understand why he's very shady. He basically represents like almost every Fortune 500 probably CEO who is a grimy snake in the world. He probably represents 45 as well if you kind of see some of the elements that are there. But it basically also leads into Cassius now. They want him to do something. Let's just put it this way. They want him to do something involving slave labor. And I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, the movie is very good. It had a lot of core elements to it. It was very layered. It was very detailed. Some people may not understand it, may not get it until somebody fully breaks it down, but that's exactly why you have to go see the movie for yourself. And then once you do, you can look through some of the comments, or maybe you'll find a video on YouTube where someone's going to actually break the movie all the way down to its fullest potential, just like they did with Get Out. I can see them probably doing it with this movie as well. But if I had to rate this movie, I would give this movie a 9 out of 10. It was very good, very well acted, well scripted. I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the plot, the storyline. Everything flowed the way that it should have. The pacing was very good. Very good film. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you can, donate to the channel via PayPal or become a patron on Patreon. And I'll talk to you in the next one.